What the London system is. It arises after the white's first move pawn to d4, and after that the white's setup is going to be something like this. White's knight to jump to e5, because they obviously cannot just trade the knights here in the center, because after that white recaptures with a double attack to the black's minor pieces, thus winning one of them. And if black tries capturing on e5 with a bishop, first of all, this is an unfavorable exchange because generally speaking bishop is a bit stronger than a knight. And secondly, after the same recapture, once again black is facing somewhat uncomfortable situation with the knight. It probably has to go back. Black played queen to c7, but white provided even more defense. Black decided to castle, white played bishop to d3. Black played knight to d7 here, white all of a sudden they played knight to g5. Black played pawn to g6. And here black is losing because after king takes, white can go queen to h5 check. The king has to go back, and after that white just keeps chasing the king until it is checkmated in a line like this. So white made an interesting move, bishop to g3. White would open up the h-file for his rook. Black decided not to do this, they just castled, and white played knight to d2, black played queen e7. If black can break through with pawn to e5, that would destroy the white center, therefore white blockades it by his own knight. e5 square is really the key in many variations of the London system. Black goes knight d7 because you've got a really beautiful continuation here, and at this point, after a couple of exchanges, there comes bishop takes h7. After king takes, you go queen h5 check, king goes back to g8, you continue with knight to e4. At this point, you're taking advantage of the pin along the 5th rank, and therefore the black's queen is attacked and the white's knight cannot be captured. Queen has to go away somewhere. Now this knight jumps to g5. They're simply going to checkmate black with queen to h7 checkmate. They played rook to e8, white took on f7, black played king to h8. I think you can even simply capture the bishop, and that would give you an advantage just as well. The black's king is very weak. Now let me show you another trap everyone falls into, including the world champ Magnus Carlsen. Instead of the move which is expected to be played, pawn to c3, you can also go knight to c3. Black continues by playing the standard move pawn to d5. White has a winning shot, knight to b5. And after that, from b5, there is no defense for black. Sometimes they go queen to b6. And here, you can play pawn to a3, and if they are naive enough to capture the pawn, you go knight to a4, and all of a sudden the queen is trapped right there on b2, and therefore on the next move, you're gonna simply capture it.
So d4, d5, bishop to f4, knight to f6, e3, c5, move knight to f3 first, and after knight c6, knight b to d. But after e6, we now have c3, and we have completed our London system setup. The only thing left to do is to play the move bishop to d3. Bishop to d6, you retreat your bishop. If black wants to take, then you open up the h-file. So castles. It's now bishop to d3. Let's say black plays rook to e8. It provides your knight with the square on e5, and this is a very important attacking idea. That is one of the main moves. Bishop takes, pawn takes is the idea. The knight has to move knight to d7, and you continue with f4. So now you can already see ideas of queen h5, bishop to h7, getting your other knight into play to g5. Black plays b6, trying to fianchetto his bishop. You continue, or queen to h5, maybe even g6. Now the dark squares are weak. Maybe queen h6 and this will work. So queen h6, if black is not careful, what do you do here? How do you continue this position? So here and game over. Knight takes, pawn takes, checkmate.